Yo, what up homeskillets? My name is Jessica Danielle and welcome back to my channel, and yes, we are doing another little spook video. It's not even Halloween anymore. First, let me address that yes, I know I don't post anymore. It's not on purpose. I'm just really awful. We already know this. Also, I'm like low-key depressed that I didn't post this month because this is my month. Look at this shit. This is my month. This is the month where I thrive, you know, where all the little ghosties come out. We have a picnic, you know, we hang out, we talk shit, it's a good time. There's no judgment, we're all friends, you know. It's a very safe environment emotionally, and I didn't take advantage of it. But let's see, what have I been up to? No one cares. You're right, we'll get to the spooky stuff now. So anyways, yes, we're gonna talk about the 5 most haunted places in America today. I already did the 5 most haunted places in the world, I think about a year ago. It was a good video. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. I'll probably link it down below, but if I forget, then it's somewhere on my channel. Alright, let's get into these. So the first place I have for you guys is Myrtle's Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. In 1992, one of the Myrtles photographed what appeared to be a slave girl standing between 2 of the buildings on the plantation. Apparently, many professionals actually examined this photograph and said that there was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't altered at all. It really was just an apparition of a slave girl. The plantation was built above an ancient Indian burial ground, so that probably has something to do with the hauntings, just saying. Right now it serves as a bed and breakfast, and they actually do historical and mystery tours. And people say that it is actually one of the most haunted homes in America, as it homes 12 ghosts. How do you count how many ghosts? Well, I guess I can count how many ghosts live in my house. So it's often reported that there have been 10 murders in the house, but they only have historical records of 1, and his name was William Winter. William Drew Winter was actually a very popular character in the plantation. He was an attorney who lived in the plantation from 1865 until 1871. William was actually shot by a stranger, and he was staggering up the stairs, but he died on the 17th step. And to this day, visitors and employees say that they can hear his dying footsteps. In 2002, Unsolved Mysteries filmed a segment about the alleged hauntings at the plantation, and according to the host, Robert Stack, the production crew experienced technical difficulties during the production of the entire segment. This plantation was actually featured in a ton of ghost shows, so if you want to go look them up, you can. That sounded like such a little brand deal. That wasn't. So the next place that I have for you guys is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in Weston in West Virginia. So this asylum was a mental hospital that operated from 1864 to 1994. It was constructed from 1858 to 1881, so they took a lot of time to build this thing. And it was originally— ow, my shoulder just broke. And it was originally designed to hold about 250 people. But in the 1950s, it became overcrowded with about 2,400 people. Imagine 2,400 people in a place that can only hold 250 people. So obviously the living conditions weren't that great. Its population included epileptics, alcoholics, drug addicts, so they had thousands of people stuck in one little place. There was poor sanitation, lack of furniture, no light, and no heat in most of the building. While the population decreased by the 1980s, the conditions were still so awful and the patients were still just not being treated right. Nothing had improved. It was so bad that patients that couldn't be controlled were stuck and locked in cages. So these conditions got out, people were hearing about what was going on, and so eventually the hospital was shut down in 1994. That's pretty recent if you think about it. Holy moly. So obviously because it was so awful there were a lot of deaths that happened there, and it was a hospital. Hospitals are the most haunted places ever. There's a bathroom there that legend has it one boy actually murdered another boy. And even across the hall there's another room where apparently 2 people made a suicide pact and hung themselves. I mean, listen, if you're already crazy and you're put in those conditions, like there's just no way you're not gonna get more crazy. Like I'm sure they've all thought about, you know, taking their anger out on each other or themselves, and I mean I'm pretty sure that's how most of them died. Or it's because it was like, I don't know, the conditions they were living in probably just killed them. Oh my god, this freaks me out. I don't know why that— I just started getting freaked out right now. Did you see that just like happen on my face? Alright, the next thing we have is the Winchester house in San Jose, California. So the Winchester Mystery House is actually a mansion, which was once the personal residence of Sarah Winchester, the widow of William Winchester, who invented this gun that was really popular in the war or something. I don't know. I'm really bad at history. Since its construction in 1884, a lot of people had died in the mansion, even Sarah Winchester herself, and it is also claimed to be haunted by every single person that was killed by a Winchester rifle. Under Sarah Winchester's guidance, the house was continuously being built. They were always working on it, always making it bigger. It even got to 7 stories tall until a huge earthquake happened and actually knocked it down a few. So now it stands at 4 levels tall. But anyways, it was always being built. There were things always added on, little secret rooms, little secret doors. Just uninterrupted construction up until her death on September 5th in 1922, at which time work ceased immediately. They're like, this bitch is dead. Finally, I don't have to work on this shit anymore. I'm just kidding. Sarah Winchester, don't come for me. So tabloids from that time actually claim that after her infant daughter and her husband passed away, she went to go visit a medium in Boston. The medium said she had connected to her husband, and her husband was telling her that she should leave her home in New Haven and travel west. And after she moves west, to continuously build a home for herself and all of the spirits of the people that fell victim to the Winchester rifles. So this mansion is crazy. It has about 161 rooms, including 40 bedrooms, 2 ballrooms, 1 completed and 1 unfinished, as well as 47 fireplaces, over 10,000 panes of glass, 17 chimneys with evidence of 2 others, so maybe 19, 2 basements, and 3 elevators. That's a bit excessive for one woman. Well, one woman in hella spirits. That's fine. It makes sense. Because those 2 things apparently had spiritual significance to her. For example, an expensive imported chandelier originally had 12 candle holders on it, but she got it altered to be 13. Clothes hooks on the walls were in multiples of 13. Even the drains on the sinkholes had 13 holes. They pay tribute to Sarah to this day. Even the current gardener grew a tree that looks like the Roman numerals for 13. And every Friday the 13th, they ring the large bell 13 times on the 13th hour, which is 1 p.m. So they pay tribute to her, and that's nice considering she put in so much work in that very intricate design of a mystery house. It's crazy. There's stairs that lead to nowhere. There's doors that lead to outside even though they're on the 3rd level. Like, it's weird. There's random doors that don't go anywhere. There's doors on the floor. There's all kinds of stuff. It's really, really crazy. So the next place I have for you guys is the Calcasieu Courthouse in Louisiana. It's said to be haunted by Toni Jo McQuiston. She was a murderess, and she was also the only female to die in Louisiana's electric chair. Apparently she was really beautiful, but she was a tough, strong girl. But the only thing was she was into drugs and prostitution. She worked at a brothel and met this guy whose nickname was Cowboy. She fell in love with him, and after they got married, she cleaned herself up. Shortly after that, Cowboy was actually arrested for a murder from his past and was sentenced to 50 years in prison. So Toni Jo and her buddy Harold actually went out to bust Cowboy out of prison. When they were stealing their getaway car, they actually killed the owner of the car and left him in a ditch. She was out and about and bragged about this crime that she did, and she was caught and actually sentenced to death in the courthouse. Ever since, people say that they hear her whisper, they hear her screams. People also say that they smell whiffs of perfume and actually the smell of burnt hair. And they also say that they can hear her footsteps echo throughout the building. Listen, she's probably just bitter about the situation. She was a prostitute, she lost her man, went to go get him, killed another man, got caught, and then was killed. Wow, she had a hard life. I don't know, if I were her, yeah, I'd be pissed too. I would haunt the fuck out of everyone. Alright, so this last one is my favorite, and this is the Whaley House in San Diego. So there are very few houses in San Diego that are historically important. So this house wasn't just the Whaley family's house, it was also the county courthouse, San Diego's first commercial theater, a ballroom, a billiard hall, a school, a polling place. It was crazy. It was just everything. Significant events happened there, including the suicide of Violet Whaley in 1885. Before the house was even built, there were a lot of hangings that happened on the property. According to the Travel Channel's America's Most Haunted, this house is the most haunted place in America. The earliest documented ghost at the Whaley House was actually Yankee Jim. So Yankee Jim was actually convicted of attempted grand larceny in San Diego in 1852 and was hanged on the gallows of the back of a wagon where the house now stands. The local newspaper said that he tried to keep his feet on the wagon for as long as possible until he was pulled off, and he swung back and forth like a pendulum until he was strangled to death. Although Thomas Whaley was actually there and witnessed this happen, he bought the property anyways. After buying the property, years later, he built the home for his family. That's kind of weird. I gotta say that's a little weird. Like, oh, this guy was just murdered. I love the layout of this land. I'm gonna buy it. I don't know, because I would so buy a house that, you know, like hella people died in, but that's just me. I don't know. Not if it's cursed. That's different if it's cursed. If it's cursed, you don't want to live there, but if people died in there, then it's fun. Soon after him and his family moved in, they would hear heavy footsteps walk all around the house. Whaley described the sounds as large boots on a large man. So finally, he just came to the conclusion that it was Yankee Jim. Many visitors actually claim that they've encountered Thomas Whaley himself. A former curator of the museum actually said, "We had a little girl, perhaps 5 or 6 years old, who waved to a man she said was standing in the parlor. We couldn't see him, but often children's sensitivity is greater than an adult's." Which is true. Children, babies, and animals are so sensitive to ghosties like you have no idea. When I was a child, I would see every single fucking thing, but I thought it was normal. That's a lie. I was really creeped out, but like I was okay with it in a way. I don't know, I just remember being super young and I just like so much shit would happen in my house. Like I would see everything. Like there were just so many ghosts and it was terrifying. However, many adults have claimed that they have seen the apparition of Mr. Whaley, usually on the upper landing. Someone actually said that he was wearing a coat and pantaloons and his face was turned away so they couldn't really see it, but then he just faded away. Okay, first of all, that's so funny that people say like, oh, he just faded away. Like I've never seen that. Like usually a ghost walks into something or walks away, like literally out of the room. Or I don't see them fade away, they just poof disappear. I don't know. That's weird. Alright. People have also reported seeing Anna Whaley in the house, usually in the downstairs rooms or in the garden. Other visitors have also reported seeing or sensing the presence of a woman in the courtroom. The description of this apparition doesn't fit anyone in the Whaley family, so they have no idea who that is. Maybe it was an old tenant or someone that lived in the house before. Because, I mean, the house was rented out multiple times over the years. So maybe other people died there. Oh, and another one, I'm not done. People have also reported seeing a little girl in the dining room. So a psychic actually went to go visit the house and she said that it was a long-haired girl. She said she was very quick and she ran straight to the dining table. Urban legend has it that this is actually a ghost of a playmate of the Whaley children who accidentally broke her neck on a low-hanging clothesline in the backyard. But humans aren't the only thing that people see in the house, they also see a dog. A parapsychologist actually reported seeing a spotted dog, like a fox terrier, that ran down the hall with his ears flapping and ran straight into the dining room. He knew it was an apparition, but what's crazy is that the Whaley family actually had that dog, and the dog's name was actually Dolly Varden. So before I finish this, I actually have a story because I've been to the Whaley house. And holy shit. As you guys know, because I say this all the time, I'm very sensitive to spirits and ghosts and stuff. I just remember my family and I were walking into the house. I knew it was haunted, but I didn't know why. Like, I didn't know what was going on there. I'd never heard of this house before. And I think I was like 13 or 14. I remember this house so specifically because it was so bizarre what I felt in there. So at first I didn't feel anything and went to the dining room, nothing. Went into the courtroom. I was starting to feel a type of way, not like there's a presence, but I felt like really emotional for some reason. So I left the courtroom and then I was at the stairs and it was so freaky. I literally felt like there was a man with me. I just remember I was standing there and I called my sister over and I was like, "Brianna, come here now." And then she came over and she didn't feel what I was feeling, but I felt so overwhelmed just at the top of the stairs. I was just like, what is this feeling? I felt super like uncomfortable, but not. I don't know how to describe it, but it was so bizarre. Like I just felt like I was being watched or something. Like I don't know what it was, but I felt something. So that was super freaky, and now that I've like done research on it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Make sure to follow all of my social media. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, then what did you expect? Make sure to subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want to, I'm just saying. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love you guys, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. Adios, bitchiachos.
Do you love me?